Okay, so what if the biggest secrets of ancient places like Stonehenge or the pyramids aren't meant to be seen, but to be heard? Today, we are diving into one of the coolest, most overlooked mysteries of the ancient world. It's a whole field of study that asks a really simple but kind of profound question about the lost sound of our ancestors. I mean, think about it. When you picture yourself standing in front of the Great Pyramid or walking through a stone circle, you're picturing it, right? You're seeing it with your eyes. But what if we've been walking through these incredible ancient wonders with a whole sense basically turned off? What if we've been missing an entire dimension of what they were for? It's the first question everyone asks. You look at these impossible structures, built with such mind-boggling precision thousands of years ago, and you just have to ask why, right? We study how they line up with the stars, we marvel at the engineering, and we come up with theories about tombs and temples. But what if the question isn't just why they were built, but how they were meant to be experienced? What if their main purpose wasn't just physical, but was actually psychological, emotional, even spiritual, and the key to unlocking all of that was sound? And that brings us to this absolutely mind-bending field of research. It pretty much reframes everything we think we know about ancient civilizations. It suggests that sound wasn't just for, talking or music. It was a form of high technology. The field is called Archaeoacoustics. And the core idea is that so many of these ancient sites, from passage tombs in Ireland to pyramids in Mexico, they weren't just buildings. No, they were precision-engineered acoustic devices. You could almost say they were giant instruments, just waiting to be played. And here it is. This is the central idea. This isn't just about making some cool echoes. The theory here is that our ancestors knew something incredibly profound about the relationship between specific sound frequencies and the human brain. And they used that knowledge, they used sound as a technology to literally alter human consciousness, building their most sacred spaces to harness that power. So where's the proof? I mean, that's a pretty big claim. Well, let's start in Ireland, at a place that's actually older than the pyramids, a structure that might just be the world's first purpose-built, consciousness-altering machine. This is Newgrange. From the outside, it just looks like this huge, grass-covered mound. But inside, there's this long stone passage that leads to a central chamber. Now, for centuries, people have debated what it was for, but archaeoacoustics found a clue, not in the carvings on the wall, but in the vibrations in the air itself. So researchers went into that dark stone chamber, and when they studied the acoustics, they found something absolutely astonishing. The whole structure, the way the stones are placed, the shape of the room, it all works together to amplify one very, very specific frequency. And that number is 110 hertz. It's a deep, resonant hum. Now, that might not mean much to you or me, but to a neuroscientist, that frequency is a really big deal. So what does the sound actually do to your brain? Well, it turns out that being exposed to 110 hertz frequency has been shown to quiet the part of your brain that houses your ego, your sense of self. It literally dampens your internal monologue. And at the exact same time, it shifts your dominant brain activity from the logical, orderly left side to the creative, intuitive, emotional right side. So you put all that together, and what do you have? You have a machine built of stone, designed to induce a trance. Think about it. Someone chanting or drumming at that exact frequency inside Newgrange could guide everyone in that chamber on a pretty profound spiritual or meditative journey. But Newgrange isn't just a one-off. That's the crazy part. We see this same incredible acoustic engineering all over the ancient world. Let's just look at two more stunning examples from totally different cultures on totally different continents. Deep beneath the island of Malta, there's a place called the Hypogeum. It's this incredible underground temple complex. And here, the architecture seems to be designed as a massive sound amplifier. Certain rooms are tuned to resonate powerfully with the deep frequencies of a man's voice. The goal here wasn't just to be heard, it was to be felt. A simple chant could become this all-encompassing, bone-rattling physical vibration, making the voice of a priest feel like the voice of a god. Okay, now let's jump across the ocean to the Americas, to the famous Mayan pyramid of Kukulkan at Chichen Itza. And this might be the most mind-blowing example of all, because the effect wasn't designed for an enclosed room, but for the open air. The pyramid itself is the instrument. So here's what you do. It's really simple. You stand in front of the grand staircase and you clap your hands. Just one single, sharp clap. What happens next? It's just unbelievable. The echo that comes back at you isn't the sound of a clap. It's a high-pitched, descending chirp. It is the exact sound of the sacred Quetzal bird, a creature that was central to Mayan mythology and directly associated with the god Kukulkan, who the pyramid is named for. The building literally answers with the voice of its god.
And this isn't magic. It's just brilliant, brilliant acoustic engineering. The height and depth of each of those 91 steps on the staircase act as a kind of sound filter, what engineers today would call a diffraction grating. It literally breaks apart the sound waves of your clap and then puts them back together as a chirp. It's a primitive audio effect carved in stone.
So when you start putting all these pieces together, from Ireland to Malta to Mexico, a totally new picture of the ancient world starts to come into focus. And it really requires a huge shift in how we think about sophistication, and even about technology itself. It kind of forces us to redefine what technology even means, you know? We think of technology as silicon chips and circuits and chemistry. But what if ancient technology was based on stone, the careful manipulation of space, and the raw power of frequency? What if they were basically doing neuroscience, not with pharmaceuticals, but with acoustics?
So the big takeaway here is this. These were not primitive people just piling up rocks. They had a deep, functional, and frankly sophisticated understanding of sound physics, and they used it to interact directly with the human brain. Their most sacred sites weren't just monuments to be looked at. They were instruments precisely tuned for human experience. And this gives us a whole new way to experience history. So the next time you find yourself in an ancient ruin, or even a grand cathedral, or any vast old space, just stop for a second. Hum a low note, clap your hands, and just listen. Listen to what the stones have to say back to you. And that leaves us with the ultimate question. Don't just ask what these places were for. Ask yourself, what was this place designed to make me feel? The answer might just be humming in the air, right there around you.